What's good, Turf Talk family? It's me, Richard Donahue, and
Landon Stuziak.
With Turf Talk, today we're going to be talking about mainly the Super Bowl, but we have a bunch of other topics to talk about, so let's just jump into it right now. Overview on the Super Bowl. It was really bad and really good at the same time.
That was great.
I think the first half was pretty dog, but the second half was great. It was one of the better Super Bowls, second Super Bowl to go in the overtime. Mahomes gets it done again, so there's a whole topic to talk about that. So
I picked Mahomes. I picked Mahomes to win. I was right.
I mean, I can't fathom that he got a third ring after 6 years.
I'm sorry.
We hired some new people, so now we had 8 people of the Turf Talk family that are under contract. So
saw his shoulder.
It's been great. We had a bunch of guys making reels.
Why don't we get everyone to introduce themselves?
Yeah, we had a bunch of guys making reels on Instagram, and we have a couple videos over 50K now. So it's only on the up for Turf Talk. So we got Video Dom. Obviously, you guys know him. He was in the last episode. Got TikTok manager Chase, advisor Josh, and then we have a couple shorts makers that aren't here because they just make the shorts. It's not that big of a deal. So do you want to start with your rant
on what?
The Chiefs defense, or no, 49ers defense?
Oh yeah, I said I was gonna. Yeah. All right. Let me pull up. Actually, I don't need to pull up. I can go off. So yesterday in the Super Bowl, Steve Wilkes' defense was looking like Leslie Frazier's during 13 seconds. They would play off, they got a sack or something. Remember that play? When Valdez-Scantling ran back 6 yards, they played off 10 yards and just gave him a freebie completion that got him about 6, 7, 8, and they got all that back. And in the Super Bowl, in overtime, they played some of the most passive defense I've ever seen. It looked like they wanted to go home. It was terrible. I think Steve Wilkes should not have a job anymore. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that great 49ers defense really overshadowed his job, and they weren't even that good this year. Mm-hmm. They were kind of they were up there, but they weren't good as they were last year with D'Amico Ryan. So I think if I'm John Lynch of the Niners, I'm firing Steve Wilkes, and I'm trying to bring in Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel with that defense would be quite nasty. So,
I think it all stems from Dre Greenlaw getting hurt. With Dre Greenlaw getting hurt, I mean, that's one of your best players. He locked down Travis Kelce, and then as soon as he gets hurt, Travis Kelce goes for 8 catches, 92 yards. You have Fred Warner on him, but Fred Warner is not really a coverage linebacker. I mean, he can, but he's not covering Travis Kelce. So Dre Greenlaw was a massive loss. That was a disgusting injury. It was unfortunate because it looked like the Niners were going to win. They were up 10-0. He gets hurt. And I thought originally it was a torn ACL. It reminded me of the Bradley Chubb injury, but it ended up being a torn Achilles. So prayers up to him. And, it's really upsetting.
It's like a Milano situation. Bills not having Matt Milano was huge all year.
I can't believe that Mahomes won again. I told myself I was going to stop betting against him, but I just didn't want him to win. So I bet on the 49ers, and it did not pay off. The 49ers did not win. It looked like they were going to win for a while. The Chiefs' offense really didn't do anything, but Andy Reid, he adapted to the defense, and then with Dre Greenlaw being out, he really used the tight ends. But speaking of tight ends, Travis Kelce is a dick. What was that? He had literally assaulted Andy Reid. I mean, if Andy Reid fell on the ground, I think Travis Kelce should have been, cut. That's really bad. He literally pushed Andy Reid in the Super Bowl.
One of the league.
Yeah, that's
bad. That's bad.
AJ Brown said that if that was him, that he would have been kicked out of the league. So, do you believe that?
It's kind of a thing where they're kind of that's kind of like bringing it back to race a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you're saying that a black fella pushing a white fella, they might kick him out of the league. That's what I'm gonna. Try not to be racist, but that's what I'm guessing.
I don't think that he would have been kicked out of the league. I think it's the same thing. Nick Sirianni is a little bit of an idiot. I don't like him at all.
I would have liked that if he pushed Nick.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni's...
Andy Reid's a lovable guy now.
Dude, Andy Reid loves cheeseburgers. How do you push him?
Exactly.
I just don't get it. But
I mean,
Kelsey, he's done.
Imagine he's coming back.
He
I saw it earlier. But imagine if Stephon Diggs did that.
Well, because Diggs doesn't play how he should be. Diggs is so bad now. I don't know how he fell off. He was so good in the beginning of the year. One of the best receivers in the league. He was like top 5 in stats. Yeah. And then after week 12, he just fell. He fell off super hard. It was like one of the. It was like he literally fell off a cliff. It was out of nowhere too. It was like right after the Eagles game. He just didn't do anything.
Not even like it was so. Let's look at his stats all year.
As soon as Dalton Kincaid started doing good, Diggs fell off.
Week 1, 102 yards. Week 2, 66. Week 3, 111. Week 4, 120 with 3 touchdowns. Week 8, 121. Week 8. Week 5. Week 6, 100. Week 7, 58, a touchdown. Week 9, I think week 9 is kind of where it started to... Not week 9, week 8. Whatever week it was. The Buccaneers week is when his fall-off started. He went 70 yards, and then against the Bengals he went 86. And then his highest the rest of the year was 87 versus the Dolphins in the last week of the season. So...
Yeah, I mean, do you want to say it? The offensive coordinator, so when they changed the offensive coordinator from Ken Dorsey, it really felt like he was out of the offense, and I think at this point Diggs should be out. Is it announced that Joe Brady's the OC now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't like that move. I think he did okay, but I don't think I think they should have went out and got a new OC.
And he beat the Dolphins.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he didn't beat the Chiefs. Didn't beat the Chiefs, did he?
True.
He did not.
Valid point.
The Bills are 0-3 against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Actually, everyone's, except for Joe Burrow, current players, everyone's lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs, which is kind of weird. Well, yeah, active players though. So Taylor Swift over under. I won the bet. He unfortunately was 1 off. We posted a video.
If the game didn't go into overtime, they would have showed Taylor again.
Hey, the overtime, that's how it rolls, baby. Come on. That's just what happens. I mean, overtime, you can't predict that, especially how one Super Bowl has done that in the past 58 years, and it was the Falcons versus Patriots game. But it was one of the more interesting games. This was the first game with the new overtime rules because of Josh Allen crying about the coin toss. And I'm just saying. And
what did Josh cry about the coin toss? It wasn't Josh.
Hey, Josh Allen said he was studying the coin toss in the offseason, and he got really good, and he hasn't lost any since. So
the Bills lose the coin toss almost every single week.
Since 2022. Since 2022, 2023.
I went to every Bills home game this year.
Not this year. Last year.
Last year. They still lost a lot last year, too.
We'll pull it up. I don't believe it.
This year they lost almost every single coin toss.
They rail.
What?
They suck. No. Well, I might be wrong about that, but I'm actually looking this up because I'm not sure about this now that I'm thinking about it.
This is such a stupid stat. The coin toss win percentage.
I'm looking it up.
Well, Patrick Mahomes won 1-1 with the coin toss yesterday.
Did he?
They lost the coin toss in overtime. They won to start the game. They did. The Niners started with the ball.
Really? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to the coin toss.
How do you think the Chiefs won?
But I wasn't.
Kicked a field goal and then
I wasn't paying attention to the coin toss.
By the way, any of you Instagram users out there, people in the comments of like CBS Sports and all that, they're all saying that all because the Bills changed the rule, they're stupid. Because they only kicked a field goal. So if they went down and still scored that touchdown, the game still would have ended. Just a quick little rant. Instagram users are idiots in comment sections.
Yeah.
Just look at in our comment sections.
Our comments, people are telling people to kill themselves. That's not appropriate in our comments. You got to stop. I don't want any problems in the comments. So chill out, Eagles fans. The Eagles fans are telling all the 49ers fans to. I'm not even kidding. Go into our comments on the video that got 270K, the Joy Greenlaw one. People are telling people to kill themselves. And then on the Taylor Swift one, people are saying that a sniper should have killed Taylor Swift. You can't say that. That's not appropriate for Instagram. But Instagram doesn't care,
Taylor, we got your back.
Yeah, we got Taylor's back.
Hop on the podcast, Taylor. Let's read one of these.
We're scrambled. If you can't tell, we're lack of sleep. We're a very scrambled episode.
I can't sleep on Sundays. I don't know about you.
It's rough.
I can never no matter what.
I fell asleep at like 12:30 last night. It was awful.
It's just every Sunday for me. I can't sleep on Sundays. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know what the deal is.
We're scrambled. Usually we record on Wednesdays. We're recording on a Monday because we wanted to get the video out, and now we're testing things. We're just trying to figure out our new schedule. Maybe it's not the best idea. But top 5 wide receivers of all time. Let's get into this subject because I don't want to talk about the Instagram anymore. That was it's a rough topic. But thank you to everyone that's been supporting on the Instagram. We gained 55 followers in the past, 12 hours, 14 hours?
This guy's brain is in shambles after last night. I'm reading the comments.
We're not reading the comments. We're done. Okay, we're done with this segment. My top 5 receivers of all time. We're just going one for one. My number 1 is Randy Moss.
My number 1 is Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice used stickums. I don't know how you could put him at number 1, but number 2.
Game is game.
Number
the player, hate the game.
Number 2, Calvin Johnson. He's one of the most dominant players of all time, and what was he, like 6'4", 6'5", and ran a 4.40, 4.40.
I take Randy Moss at 2.
Hey, I mean Randy Moss is one of the better players of all time. He's a part of the 17-0 season with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Still doesn't have a ring, and I guess you could put Jerry Rice over him for that. But speaking of Jerry Rice, number 3 would be Jerry Rice. You can't ignore the numbers. He has 22,000 receiving yards. He has the most receiving yards of a player over 40. Second place is Tom Brady with 6. So you can't ignore it.
6 receiving touchdowns?
No, 6 receiving yards.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So my number 3 is Jerry Rice.
My number 3 is Calvin Johnson. Same points. He's big.
So
he's fast.
our top 3 is the same. It's just scrambled, and that's kind of how you can do it with the top 3. It's like, in my opinion, it's those 3 guys are statement players, and the rest of the top 10 is guys you can switch around.
What did you just hit?
Anyways, back to it.
Anyways, my number 4. This is where it gets a little controversial, and I want to talk about this. My number 4, I have Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown was one of the most talented receivers, and before that Vontaze Burfict hit, it looked like he could have played longevity for a while. I mean, he was playing at a consistently high level for years to come. I think his best year was 1,780 and 14 touchdowns with the Killer Bees. Something like that. He had a ridiculous year that year.
He was on the Madden cover?
Yeah. No, it was 2018, so the year before.
That was...
Or 2017. It was one of those years. He had his best year. Antonio Brown, one of the most talented route runners of all time.
I don't think people know how short he is, too. He's
5'9".
He's 5'10", 5'11", yeah. People think he's a big
pretty
body.
Tall. He's really not, and that's...
People think he's a big body.
That's the thing, is he's so talented. It's not like he's fast.
Don't forget the Super Bowl.
Okay, the Super Bowl doesn't matter. It was with the Bucs, so he didn't really help that much.
Yes, he did. He had a touchdown at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but look at his season stats that year. I mean, he was probably the best wide receiver 3 in the league that year, though. 545
yards, 7 games played, 4 touchdowns.
Hey, you were dogging on Le'Veon Bell on the Jets.
Oh, wait, no, that was the wrong year.
Yeah, I don't want
to... Wrong year. Wait, no, it was the right year. Never mind, I'm stupid.
Number 4, Antonio Brown. I don't really think I have to say it. I mean, what was it, 2020, where he went for the Oakland Raiders, or was it Las Vegas? I don't know. The Raiders, then he went to the Patriots, then he went to I think it was just the Bucs straight after that, but CTE really got to him. I'd love to have Antonio Brown on the podcast. He's one of my favorite players of all time. I love all the videos that he posts, the hotel ones where he threw the mattress off the balcony. That was pretty funny.
What about the pool one?
Oh, we don't talk about the pool one.
His best season was 136 receptions, 1,834 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Didn't he have...
On 193 targets.
Dude, 193 targets?
And 136 receptions. That's
193 targets?
Yeah, but he caught more than half of those.
That's disgusting.
That's actually nasty. So
what? Now I'm kind of curious. I'm going to look it up after the podcast what the most receptions in a season is, or targets.
Michael Thomas. Oh, target. Michael
Targets.
Thomas got like 150 receptions in the season.
What's your number 4?
T.O.
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens. Yeah. I'd feel weird if I kept him off the list. Now I got a tough pick at 5. It's between AB and Julio. But T.O. is one of those guys. He played for so many different teams, and he was still so good.
I don't have him in my top 5 actually. I mean,
He was a cancer, but
what team was he on? He was on the Eagles. He was
Eagles,
on,
Bills, Bengals, Cowboys. I think that's it.
I don't know.
I'll look into it.
He's all right. I mean, I think I looked at his stats and he never had a season under like 9 touchdowns or something, right? It was
Something's a touchdown machine.
He had a ton of touchdowns. He's one of the best red zone scorers of all time, for sure. But I just can't put him in my top 5 because my 5A, Tyreek Hill, he's one of the fastest. I had him in my top 5 before he was on the Dolphins.
He was on San Francisco.
Oh yeah, dude, that was like one of his better years, wasn't it?
I mean, these are some like consistent stats.
Consistent, like 1.
Look at the touchdowns: 14, 4, 13, 16, 13, 9, 14, 6, 13, 15, 10.
Wow.
Bro, JP Lossman throwing him the ball and still put up 800 yards and 5 touchdowns.
So Tyreek Hill, 5A, 5B, Julio Jones. I can't not put Julio in there because Julio Jones, he had a long career. I mean, wasn't he on the Eagles this year?
Yeah,
he was
caught
one
like
of
3 touchdowns.
and this year he caught 3 touchdowns. He wasn't really like a pass catcher, but they used him in the blocking game a lot, and he had a great role for the Eagles this year. He helped them in a lot of games. I mean, I know they didn't win a lot of games down the stretch, but he still did help them. In the game that A.J. Brown was hurt in, I think he stepped up. Didn't he catch a touchdown or 2 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns. In the playoff game?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing.
No, not in the playoff game. In the other.
The week
game.
before, yeah.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
So I
I
mean,
think.
you can't ignore it. He had that one crazy catch against the Bills where it bounced off the guy's helmet and he went up and caught it. That was a Trent Sherfield.
That wasn't him.
That wasn't.
That was Olmatus Zukias. Oh wait, are you talking about when he was on the Titans?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about this year. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you meant like the touchdown that was caught this year against.
No. When he was on the Titans against the Bills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It bounced off Milano's head.
And Tyreek Hill, I don't have to explain. He's the fastest receiver of all time. One of the most dominant receivers of all time. Only receiver to have 2 1,700 seasons, and they're 2 in a row. He can play everything. He can punt return, kick return. I could go on for days about Tyreek Hill.
He loves Tyreek Hill.
I love Tyreek Hill. I've loved Tyreek Hill for forever. I mean, you can't ignore that speed. So, who's your 5?
I'm about to compare some stats here. So let me just give me a second. Ooh, maybe. All right, I'm gonna do I'm gonna do 5A or 5A, 5B. I'm gonna take Julio 5A because I'm gonna put him a little bit higher than Antonio Brown because he has more career yards and more touchdowns, I think. And then 5B, I'm gonna put Antonio Brown. Not much to explain. We both had him on the list, so
I mean,
they've already heard about him. I don't have very much of a different take.
I think in general, like the top 7 guys are like locked. I mean,
Yeah.
you can throw in Chad Ochocinco is one of the best of all time. I mean,
forgot about Ochocinco.
Ochocinco wasn't in my top 5, but he is one of the better receivers of all time. I think Ochocinco was probably a top 3 route runner of all time. And since we're already on the receivers, I think we might as well just do current players.
Yeah.
So I have 1A, 1B, because I just can't pick between these 2 studs. 7 missed games for Justin Jefferson. He's my 1B. Tyreek Hill played 15 games, missed 2. Both of them are absolute studs. Both of them are the best receivers in the league, and I just can't pick between them. So 1A, 1B, Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. I mean, they're just clear cut. Number 1 and number 2. I just can't pick between them. It's just too hard.
I'm not going to do a 1A, 1B. I'm going to do 1, Tyreek Hill, led the league in yards, scores. Tyreek does everything.
Yeah.
He can jump up and catch a ball.
Except he can do everything, but he drops them in crucial games.
Yeah, but
is
that's a risk you got to take when you got the best wide receiver in the league.
yeah. I mean,
I'm not discouraged by his drops.
I'm not either. I mean, you look at his stats. You can't ignore his stats. He has multiple games every year with over 220 yards. This year he had like 3. So you literally can't ignore it. 2 touchdowns. He's a machine. He's a yards after catch machine. He's a deep threat machine. This year they let Tua air it out to him a couple times. He can catch the deep ball. He's just clearly one of the better players.
Yeah, man.
What's your number 2? Since
My number 2, Jefferson. I mean, you missed 7 games and you still went with 1,000 yards. That's 100 yards a game.
I don't know whose season was more impressive, Kyron's or Justin Jefferson's. Kyron missed 4 or 5 games and still had a ridiculous year. And then Jefferson missed 7 and he still put up 1K.
And you didn't have Kyron this year, too.
No, I didn't. I put Kyron in my top 5, though. He's 5B.
Berm agreed with me.
Okay. Number 3, Jamar Chase. I don't think that's a hot take. Jamar Chase didn't have Joe Burrow this year. He was still putting up numbers. This guy doesn't appreciate it because he was on his fantasy team. But Jamar Chase, absolute savage. One of the better players. I mean, in college, he was better than Justin Jefferson. And then when he came to the NFL and he had a better receiving rookie season. I just can't not put him in my top 3. Jamar Chase, he can do everything. He's like a better Deebo Samuel. He's a more rounded wide receiver like Deebo Samuel, and he's still just as good after the catch.
He's not as good after the catch.
I think he is. I mean, he led the league in yards after catch like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Excited. No, Deebo had a breakout year 2 years ago. He led the league.
No, that was 2 years ago, the year that he had all the rushing yards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking it up. Do your 3rd.
So my 3rd is not going to be Jamar Chase. He's too inconsistent.
Bro.
Dude, I have him in fantasy. I saw the limited fantasy points he put up every week in your inflated league.
Yeah, and then he put up 104 points the one game. So
he puts up 100 points, then he puts up 3. Inconsistent.
And because you have Jake Browning at quarterback, and then you also
He's not that bad.
Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. You got so many weapons.
T. Higgins was hurt half the year. Don't even.
Okay.
I'm putting CeeDee Lamb, who was great this year.
I mean,
he had 1,700 yards too?
CeeDee Lamb broke every record for the Cowboys on receivers.
Yeah, and there was Michael Irvin and Des Bryant who played the years before him.
Did you see Des Bryant on that one Chiefs catch? He put on Twitter and he said that wasn't a catch. Sounds like someone.
I think he was talking about the Juszczyk catch.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That Juszczyk isn't a Chiefs player.
Oh, that's what I meant. That's what I meant, guys.
Yeah.
I need sleep. No, he did lead the league in 2022.
Who?
Jamar Chase in yards after catch.
2022. That was 2 years. That was last year.
Oh, okay. I was wrong then. But wait.
This was the 2023-2024 season. Last year was 2022.
Yeah, okay. He led it last year, not this year. Or 2 years ago. Whatever.
Right.
Number 4, CeeDee's nuts. CeeDee Lamb is... You can't really put it against him. CeeDee Lamb is ridiculous. He had a breakout year this year, and I didn't really believe in him. Everyone would always tell me that he was a top 10 receiver, and I didn't see it. Especially when Amari Cooper was on his team, and I guess he's just been developing without me noticing, but that is one player I can say I was a hater of. I didn't like CeeDee Lamb. I didn't like his antics on the field. I watched the game and he was complaining to the refs, and I just didn't like it his rookie season, and ever since I haven't liked him. But this year you can't ignore it. He had I think he had 1,700 yards. He had like at least 11 touchdowns, at least 10 or 11 touchdowns. He had 130 receptions or something like crazy. He had a breakout year for sure, and I got to put him in my top 5. I put him at 4.
I can't believe we forgot about it. I don't know if you're going to put him at 5 or if you just completely forgot about him. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
He's not in my top 5.
Oh,
Not in my top 5.
that's a hot take.
I'm going to try to stop making terrible takes. That's a god awful.
Never have said that.
You did say that. You said that last week after recorded.
If it's recorded, it would be on there.
Dude, that's a terrible take.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is overrated. Amon-Ra St. Brown is on the most high-powered offense in the entire league.
Dude.
Amon-Ra St. Brown has David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. He has...
He's not a quarterback. He's a receiver.
It doesn't matter. He's on the most high-powered offense in the league.
So wouldn't that mean he's better? The fact that he's great in other ways?
No.
The fact that he's still exceeding top 5 in the league in receiving yards when he has all this star power on his team?
It makes it easier for him to get the numbers.
You just use the exact argument.
If the Dolphins didn't have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill's numbers would not be as well. They would be worse.
You just said that Jamar Chase didn't have as much receiving yards because there was T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's these exact
previous years where they weren't playing, like Joe Mixon didn't play half the year last year. Jamar Chase had more numbers. They used him in the screen game more in 2022.
Dude.
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with Amon-Ra St. Brown being in the top 5, and I don't think he's that good of a route runner. I think he's really good at yards after catch, and I think he had one really good season, but I don't agree with him being in the top 5.
One really good season. He was like a 5th-round pick, and he's put up 1,000 receiving yards with the Lions.
5th-round pick doesn't matter. Puka was a 4th-round.
He was on the. I think he was a 5th actually. He was on. He was, yeah. He was on a 3-13 Lions team, and he still put up almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
He easily helped them excel last year, where they went 9-8, almost made the playoffs, and this year. Take away Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that team is not as good.
I don't know. I mean, I can see Amon-Ra St. Brown in the top 10. I just can't see him in my top 5 yet. I think he needs to do one more prove-it year. I mean, this could be the same situation as the CD Lamb, but I just don't like him as a player. Exactly. I watched him on Thanksgiving. I think that was like one of the only Lions games I watched all year. I watched that game. I watched the NFC Championship game. Thanksgiving, I mean, I'm pretty sure he had good numbers. He had like 100 yards and a touchdown, but it was off of like one big play. I don't know.
He had like 9 receptions for like 103 yards on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know. I said it. I said he had 100 yards. I don't think he's that. Did you DoorDash?
Yeah. Hey, get on my chair.
Oh my god.
Let's take a peek at these stats right here.
Let's look at it.
All right, this year 1,216 yards. Amon-Ra this year 1,015. Jamar last year 1,046. Amon-Ra last year 1,161, and then the rookie years 1,455 and 912. That is 1 year that Jamar Chase has had more receiving yards than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
You not following?
But if you actually watch Jamar Chase's routes, you can see how dominant.
Watch Amon-Ra run routes.
All right.
You act like Amon-Ra's a scrub route.
No, he's not a scrub. I'm just saying he's not top 5.
Whatever. Just go to 5.
He's not top 5. Number 5, Davante Adams. Best or probably top 2 route runner in the league. I don't think I have to explain that at all.
You got me mad. I'm gonna say that. I'm mad.
Bro is stressing.
I can't think now because you. What did I miss? I could put Jamar there, but I just shat on Jamar. I'll take Jamar. Whatever. No, AJ Brown. Hold up. I take it back.
AJ Brown had the second biggest fall off behind Diggs this year.
Yeah, well, Jalen Hurts blows.
It's not all Jalen Hurts' fault. I mean, AJ Brown I had in fantasy, so I know his numbers because you use that argument against Jamar Chase. AJ Brown had a solid 8-game stretch. He was super dominant, and then he kind of fell off towards the end of the year. I'm gonna look up his stats, but I don't think he had like 2 games that had a touchdown. I think he literally since like the Bills game after that he had 1 touchdown. I'm almost positive. He had like 40, or if he did have a touchdown, it was on like 40-yard games. So I don't put it. I think he's still one of the best players, and since he's been traded to the Eagles, they've been super dominant. But after the end of his season, I can't put him in my top 5. He's just there. I mean, skill-wise, he is. But Davante Adams, I think, was on a terrible Raiders offense, and with Aiden O'Connell as his quarterback, still was cooking. So I put Davante Adams as a route runner in my top 5.
Okay. Okay. I'm not fighting with you on the receivers anymore. Go to the next segment.
Back to what we were saying. The Bandits. They are the number 1 team ranked right now. So
NLL power rankings. Bandits back on top.
as they should be. I mean,
they've shown dominance. These
are they going? I mean, I know it's not a 3-peat, but are they going back to back to the NLL?
Everyone's talking about how the Chiefs back-to-back Super Bowl champions.
What about the Bandits?
The Bandits.
The Bandits.
Back-to-back NLL champions.
No one wants to talk about it. I mean, the
This is
Bandits,
absurd.
This is the building of a dynasty, and it's at the helm of Josh Byrne.
Josh Byrne, just the talent on this team.
And don't we have one of the youngest teams in the league, or is that not true?
No, not really. We're a little bit on the. We're in the middle.
We're in the middle.
We're in the middle. Yeah.
I thought a lot of our players were like 26. I'm
No.
not sure. Well, don't worry, guys. I'm going to 2 Bandits games in the next 2 weeks, so I will be able to give you guys insight. It's gonna be great.
Wait, I never got to. Okay.
Talk about what you wanted to talk about.
I don't want to get into the Bandits segment, but I didn't get to talk about the Sabres yet.
That's later.
That's later. Okay, that's cool. All right, but the Bandits, they're playing great lacrosse, but they can't pull away games. It's a little scary at the end. I've watched every game.
I'm not worried about it, honestly. It doesn't matter if they can't pull away games. As long as they get the win, that's all that matters.
I watched every game this season, and I've had a heart attack almost every time because they just slowly let the team get back in the fourth. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really is. And then especially when you're up 13-7, and then it ends up being 13-11, and then you're like, oh crap, are we gonna lose? And then they ended up just coming away with it. I don't mind it. I like the thrill. I mean, that's how Buffalo teams play. They never can just blow a good team out, except for the Cowboys, but they realize they were frauds. I love watching the Bandits. I mean, I think the Bandits are the best team in the NLL, and I think they will stay the best team in the NLL all the way through. I think we're gonna get another ring. Do they have rings for the NLL?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get another ring, and a new segment that I'm going to start wanting to talk about is, I don't know if you guys see my hoodie, the New York at Last. They are the newest New York team, and I'm pretty sure they're playing in Rochester some games. They don't have a set field yet, but they're playing.
Nobody in the PLO has set field.
They should make them set
They
fields.
They made the cities, but they don't come back to the. They stay in one area. They'll have a weekend in Rochester.
I think they're gonna have. I think they're gonna have a couple games in Rochester, and I want to go to one like that.
We should go to them.
We should, because I would love to go to a PLL game. The PLL is by far
from the PLL.
It's by far better than the NLL. The NLL.
When did they come to Rochester?
The NLL is one of the better leagues for lacrosse. There's a couple, but the PLO is so fun to watch. I don't like Paul Rabel.
The 2-point line is sick, too.
There's a 2-point line?
In the NLL?
I didn't know that.
Or in the PLL? Yeah, there's a 2-point line.
I didn't know that. I've only watched a couple PLL games, but recently is when I started, because I've been a fan of the PLL and I like the chaos, but now that there's the New York at Last, I don't see why I wouldn't like them.
Opening weekend is in Albany, New York. Ooh, Albany?
Albany's 5 hours away.
Yeah. Are we trying to go out 5 hours?
No.
It's the 31st or the 2nd. I'll see if there's Phillies. Boston, Kentucky, Fairfield, San Diego, Baltimore, Denver, Salt Lake City. So the closest is Philly and Albany.
Honestly, I'd love to go to Philly. Philly would be sick. That would be sick.
Yeah, Philly. I went for the Bills game. It was around 5 hours. So.
Really?
It's 5 hours.
I'd rather go to Philly than Albany. Albany.
Yeah,
kind of
I feel like I'd rather go to Philly too, honestly.
But either way, the Bandits. I'm very happy with where they're at. I'm very happy with where they're at, and I think if we can continue the strides that we've been making since the beginning what was it? I think it was the first 2 weeks. I really wasn't confident in them.
Yeah, first 2
I
weeks.
thought that the management sucked, the coaching sucked, and I thought that we were going to make a lot of changes. But it looks like they turned it around. They just need to close out games. If they can learn to close out games, I think this will be one of the better teams of all time. Because what's their record right now? I think they have
5-3.
Yeah, 5-3.
They're on a bye week this week.
They can win. What is it? How many games do they have left? 12. They can. I know they can win out. Their schedule really isn't hard.
They have 5-6 games yet left.
Really?
Yeah.
How many games are in a season?
12, 14.
Oh, I thought it was like 18 games. I don't know, but the Bandits game, I'm going to be. I almost kind of want to live stream on Instagram. So at Turf Talk Sports
That
1.
can get us in trouble, dude.
Can it? My reaction?
Well, are you going to be holding the Instagram live the entire game?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you probably could.
At Turf Talk Sports 1 _. You have to check it out. I mean, our Instagram's popping right now.
I could go to a Sabres game, but that sounds like terrible.
No one wants to go to a Sabres game. I mean, you know, since we're already talking about it, let's have the Sabres segment. I'm about to leave because I don't want to talk about the Sabres. They are now my least favorite NHL team. I hate the Sabres. I watched their most recent game, and it was just...
Oh, that was probably the... Dude.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. I watched it, and I became a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. I hate it. I just hate the Sabres. I hate watching them play. And until they fix it, I won't be a fan. I'm done with the Sabres. So I will not be communicating on any of the Sabres segments from now on.
Dude.
I'm done. I'm done with them.
Dude.
I'm done with them.
Saturday?
I'm sick. I'm sick of it. I'm pissed.
Saturday was bad. 3-1 against St. Louis.
Dude, fire everyone.
Yeah, the entire coaching staff. Tage Thompson has 2 points, 1 point actually, in the past 9 games. So even the star players, other than Rasmus Dahlin, are doing nothing. We mess up every draft pick we take almost, other than Zach Benson. It's just even last year. Like, we weren't even that good last year. But the offense was great. But the goaltending was bad. This year, the offense blows, but UPL is great. Like, nothing on this team can stay consistent. It's terrible. Granato needs to go, but they're not going to fire him because they... That scared me. They're not going to fire him because they've already fired so many coaches in the past few years. They don't have the money to do it. Pagula needs to sell the franchise. This franchise is abysmal. They haven't done anything since the 90s, looking like the Bills. Except at least the Bills make the playoffs every year now. It's terrible. Buffalo sports is the most disgusting thing out there. Other than the Bandits, Buffalo has nothing. The Bills, you can argue that, yeah, the Bills are good now. What do they have to show for it? AFC East championships? Terrible. Terrible. The Sabres suck. It's not fun being a Buffalo sports fan. That's all that I have to say on that topic.
Really quick, so I don't look stupid. There was an 8-game stretch in 2022 that Josh Allen won every single coin toss, and he did say he was studying the coin toss. So I'm not making stuff up. I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know the whole truth. So I'll try to be better for you guys. Let's get into Victor Wembanyama versus Chet Holmgren for the Rookie of the Year. I did want to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this for like 3 weeks. He didn't like the idea, but Victor Wembanyama is going to be one of the best players in the league next year. I guarantee it. So Victor Wembanyama is having a pretty good season. He's averaging like 2.5 blocks per game, 20 points per game. I think he's averaging like almost 10 rebounds a game. And not a lot of assists, like 4.
He's averaging way more than 2.5 blocks.
Really?
2.5 blocks
per game
for a dude who is...
Or no, 2.5 steals per game.
Yeah.
I think
he's in like
right.
The
it is like
10, he's in like
3
the
blocks
10.
per game. It's a lot.
He's in like the 7s for blocks, I swear.
No, he has more blocks than 2018 Gilbert Arenas. That's kind of impressive. Victor Wembanyama, in my opinion, has had it the entire time, but I've heard that people thought Chet had it for a little bit. There's no way. Chet, he isn't even a rookie. I get that the NBA, if a player gets hurt and he doesn't play his rookie season, they give him another year for the Rookie of the Year, and the NFL does not do that. But he's not Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama is the only reason why he's on the Spurs, right? I'm just making sure that I'm not getting the team right.
Well, our Instagram comment section is going off.
Oh, no.
Stop talking about me riding hose, okay?
Dude, you guys
stop.
are so annoying. It's not even you guys. You guys
We
are
hate
great.
our fans.
I don't like the Instagram comments because people in the Instagram comments aren't you guys. The Turf Talk fan group, the 5 of you that actually are watching the whole way through.
Dude,
you guys are great. You guys are awesome. But the people on Instagram are nuts. They're literally they're going crazy.
Yeah.
We have our captions or notifications on, and their people are just talking a bunch of trash.
Humble, next play.
What do you have to say about Victor and Chet?
It's Victor, dude. No,
Chet's averaging like 4.5 threes a
pardon
game.
my language, but Chet is one ugly mother.
Whoa! We don't.
Sorry. I had to say it.
He's not even that ugly.
Chet,
He's not even that ugly.
throw a picture of Chet up here.
If he remembers.
You're gonna have to watch it too if you will.
Dude, Chet is not, dude.
Okay, he's ugly, but he's not Victor Wembanyama baguette feet with the dude. Chet,
He's French.
I thought Chet. Okay, buddy. I thought Chet was like lengthy, and I thought like KD was lengthy. When you look at Victor Wembanyama, dude, he is one of the most flexible 7-footers I've ever seen, and he's 7'5". Victor Wembanyama can hug his hamstrings. That's crazy.
I think Victor Wembanyama is like arm length is taller than like.
Victor Wembanyama goes through a 5-hour stretch routine every single day so he doesn't get hurt. That's commitment. If that's not commitment, I don't know what that is.
That sucks.
Well, you have to when you're that big.
That sucks,
You literally have to.
How do you even get that big? He drank his milk, man.
No, and milk makes you shrink, in my opinion. I don't like milk. Milk is not it. I'm not going to talk about the reasons, though.
Dude, I love milk.
We're Tyreek says this upcoming year is a Super Bowl or a bust for the Miami Dolphins, and I completely agree. Tyreek Hill, he's saying this, and he said that there's been excuses the past 2 years, and they're running out. There's no more excuses, and I completely agree. The first year, we didn't have Tua. The second year, it was negative 40-degree wind chills. There's no excuses now. The Big Fangio's gone.
Always excuses.
No, Vic Fangio's gone. Tyreek Hill is exactly right. This year is either Super Bowl or bust. And, I mean, he has 2 more years on his contract, and he said he wants to retire after it. If we don't win a Super Bowl, I doubt he's going to come back after the year. I mean, he wants to save his body. He already has the Soul Runner brand. And he is our team. I mean, Jalen Waddle is learning from him, and Jalen Waddle will be a top 5, top 10 receiver. Well, he's already top 10 in my opinion, but he'll be a top 7 receiver.
Is Amon-Ra in your top 10?
Obviously, Amon-Ra's in my top 10. He's just not a top 5 receiver. We're not getting into this again.
He's just at like 9.
Next year, we're going to do this soon. We have a lot of stuff to talk about in the next couple episodes, but soon we're going to do our schedules, like what we plan on for the playoffs. And I think the Bills and the Dolphins might meet up in the AFC Championship next year. I think
Schedules aren't even released. They don't release
that's why. No,
until like May.
The opponents are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Your opponents are already leaked. Well, not leaked. They're already announced. And the Dolphins look like they have an easy schedule. The Bills look like they have a decently easy. I mean, it's not really that hard. What team? Do you know what division they face this year? The AFC East.
Niners division. So
It's
Niners, Seahawks,
Rams,
Cardinals.
The only easy game in there is the Cardinals. So it's like those are the decent.
That's not even easy. Honestly.
I mean,
they got grit.
Dude, the Cardinals.
Most caps.
All of their wins were against teams with like a winning record, weren't they? Or like almost all of them. They beat the Steelers, right? They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Eagles. They beat. Yeah. They
almost beat the Seahawks.
Did they almost beat the Seahawks?
They did at the end of the year.
Did the Seahawks even have a winning record this year?
They did, yeah. They won
9-8.
Yeah, they almost went the playoffs.
Yeah. One thing I want to say is I think Khalil Shakir this year needs to take a breakout year for him. If he gets over 1,000 yards this year, I'm calling it right now. I'll get a Khalil Shakir jersey. It'll be the first Bills jersey that I buy. I like Khalil Shakir. I like Donkey Kincaid's, but Donkey Kincaid's are just too
start doing things that I haven't done with Kincaid. No, we should start doing things that you have to like wear Josh Allen jersey for a week if you get something wrong.
You'd have to wear a 2-on-1.
Yeah, I'm fine with that for like an episode or 2.
Punishment?
It could be any sorts of kind of punishments.
Okay.
When we're gonna release the challenge wheel.
Oh, this is gonna be a great episode.
There's a lot of things that we can make for punishments because I know you said already one punishment for the one thing on the wheel.
The caging.
We're not going to spoil what's on the wheel yet. Tomorrow will be a post on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you will see everything on the wheel.
All right,
Mark your calendars.
2 Lamar stats really quick before we get into our top 5 corners of all time. Lamar is the youngest player of all time to have 2 MVPs, and he is.
Oh, we never talked about NFL honors. They were terrible.
Oh, dude, They're really bad. Well,
I know we've said this in past episodes,
it was bad.
but the more I've looked at the stats,
It was
Lamar
bad.
is not an MVP.
It should have been Dak. I mean, honestly,
Honestly, CMC.
Honestly,
I know how
CMC
valuable CMC was.
because if CMC like kept them in the Super Bowl. If anything, you saw how valuable he was. He should have been the MVP. I think
also-
the Super Bowl MVP shouldn't just be the winning team.
If you're hating on Brock Purdy,
Oh,
stop!
Get
watching.
out of here,
Stop watching,
dude!
videos.
It's his first Super Bowl, and he's so
played great.
poised.
He played
He's
great.
so poised.
His O line was terrible. He was making plays.
He was getting
scrambling.
wrecked by Chandler Jones every play.
Chris Jones.
Or Chris Jones.
There was the one play got called back because Trent Williams held. He sprinted out and he threw a dot to Kittle for a first down, but it got called back.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy was doing everything he could. He showed his improvising ability. So if you're hating on Brock Purdy, you don't know ball, and you suck.
Lamar is also the only player ever to have 2 MVPs and no Super Bowl appearances. When is he going to get an appearance? Probably never, honestly. He's not really a playoff quarterback, but I'd love to see Lamar in the Super Bowl. He's such a dynamic player to watch. You want to hop into the top 5 corners? This is our last segment.
Dude, this is tough.
It's
Top 5
it's
corners
tough.
of all time. Who is
It's
the
really
best
hard.
corner of all time?
Deion Sanders.
I was thinking Deion, yeah. I'll agree with Deion, yeah.
So-
Even though he couldn't tackle, I mean...
Consensus number 1 is Deion Sanders. My number 2, I think this is a lock, but it might be controversial. I think Darrelle Revis is my number 2.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
He's clearly
He's great, yeah.
in his prime, dude. He on the Jets, he locked down like every single. It was like 5 or 6 Hall of Famers.
He locked down everybody but
It was
Steve.
crazy.
But Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson was the proud owner.
Really?
Of Darrelle Revis. Yeah. Watch the highlights. Stevie Johnson on Darrelle Revis owned him every time.
Darrelle Revis, they put
It's
him
like
on
Diggs
Revis
on
Island. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's probably one of the best defensive players in general of all time. But that's why you have to put him at 2. My number 3, I have Charles Woodson, because I think a lot of people forget about him. They think of Rod Woodson when you think about corners, but I think Charles Woodson was probably better. Charles Woodson had a great career.
I literally forgot about Charles Woodson.
Everyone forgets about Charles Woodson. I don't know how. Charles Woodson is one of the best corners of all time. He has so many interceptions. He locked up like a bunch of Hall of Famers. I think he was in in the 90s. He was playing against Jerry Rice. He was playing against was that early Randy Moss or was it Randy Moss in the 2000s? Either way, he locked up Jerry Rice like 3 separate games. So
My third is also going to be Charles Woodson. That's really all I can say. I mean, you were just saying it. We have a pretty similar list right now. Similar.
it's about to end because number 4, I have Night Train Lane. From the 1940s, Night Train Lane has the record for the most interceptions in a season with 14. Absolutely ridiculous. No one is going to touch his 81 pick record. I'm pretty sure he has.
I have no clue.
Night Train Lane is definitely my number 4. And are you ready?
Talk about him a little bit longer. 'Cause I need to.
Okay, Night Train Lane. He carried the Lions defense for I think he played for like 15 years. Or something like that. It was a pretty decent number. Night Train Lane had multiple seasons where he's had over 8 interceptions, and not a lot of players can say they've had that. I mean, the only guy that like current day that you could say that did that was like I guess Xavier Howard had a 10 interception season, a 7 interception season, but like no one's really had a consistent 8, 14. That's nuts. No one's done that.
4, I think I'm going to take Champ Bailey. I'll take a Sooner guy. Champ Bailey, he's a great player. He was great in the no-fly zone. He really was just a phenomenal player.
I almost think he's reading my list because my number 5 is Champ Bailey.
Okay.
Now, Champ Bailey was locked down, dude. On that 2015 Broncos defense, no one was touching him. You had Peyton Manning back there, old as shit, cannot throw the ball. He was throwing it like this. He was just, check downs. At that point in his career, he was done. It was worse than Drew Brees in his last year, and Drew Brees couldn't throw the ball past 20 yards. People say Michael Thomas is a slant man. It was just Drew Brees. He couldn't throw far. It wasn't Michael Thomas's fault. Prime Michael Thomas, bro. Underrated.
All right, so my number 5, I'm going to have a 5A, 5B. I'm going to take 5A is going to be Rod Woodson because he still had an amazing career. 5B, more recent guy. I love him, Richard Sherman. Great player. I wanted to put him on my list. Richard Sherman, Legion of Boom.
Richard Sherman's all right. I mean, he's in my top 10. He had like a small dip in his career after his peak, and then he kind of came back in the 49ers.
Corner's a tough position to play longevity-wise.
I mean, yeah, but you look at Jalen Ramsey, he has 7 years. He's still playing at an elite level on 3 separate teams, might I add. I think Jalen Ramsey's just up there. He's like in my top 10. He's not top 5, but he's coming up close. So that's my one player that's up and coming. So do you have one?
Up and coming, like for top of all time?
Yeah. Current player.
Sauce Gardner, Pat Surtain.
Brother.
They're up and coming.
Okay, yeah.
They're gonna be getting
That's
their
true.
career.
I think Pat Surtain, dude, honestly, one player that I can't say that you're gonna hate this, L'Jarius Sneed is, dude, L'Jarius Sneed is locked down.
He's good.
Him and OJ McDuffie, is that his name? I don't know.
His name's Trent.
I be getting
OJ McDuffie.
I get players confused. Trent McDuffie, is it McDuffie?
It's McDuffie, yeah. Trent
Okay,
McDuffie.
I'm trying to make sure I know who I'm talking about. Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed are locked down. The Chiefs have. I don't know what they did, but with all these no names, they just developed them into great players.
No names. You don't.
L'Jarius Sneed's rookie year was trash.
Okay,
L'Jarius Sneed was as good as Kyrie Elam was his
Okay,
rookie
Trent
year.
McDuffie. I did a lot because back when Trent McDuffie was drafted, I did a lot of research on Trent McDuffie because I really wanted the Bills to get him. I watched all of his highlights, all his stats. I watched his draft prospect board, all of this on Trent McDuffie because I really wanted the Bills to draft him. He was great his rookie year. He was great at Washington. He's one of those guys that's up and coming.
Trent McDuffie, I love. I mean, I really do.
I think we're gonna have to wrap up this episode though.
Yeah, it's been a long episode.
Long episode.
Next week, we're going to be doing a lot of debates. I liked how today was. It got really heated.
Next week's going to be a good week.
It's going to be a really good week, so be ready. Content's coming up. I'm going to Not Top 5, Richard Donahue, and
Landon Costuziak.
signing out. Peace.